In this video, I will be demonstrating the PWM LED strip controller, and in my example I have the circuit board here. I have 5 different strips connected, and I have a power terminal strip that is taking in the 12 volts and separating it for all the LED strips, and we have a Wemos D1 Mini and a makeshift shield connecting it through the I2C IDC connection and this ribbon cable. Okay, so I already had the device set up, so I just ran the factory reset. So it sets back all the parameters to factory, which bases on my Wi-Fi data, and it will now restart the access point so that I can add the parameters necessary. So we go into Wi-Fi settings. There is a password on it. I have already programmed it into my phone, and then it loads. We can go into the IP address for homepage. We go to config, and then host name, I'm setting it to what matches the Node-RED demo. Put in my Wi-Fi info. Set my mqtt broker. Port defaults to 1883, so I don't have to input anything. I can put in password and username for mqtt if you're using it, and everything else I'm gonna leave default. Save, and it reboots the device. And it has loaded it up on Wi-Fi. Now, if you didn't have the serial terminal connected, the device is set up so that it will output on a generic topic connected, plus the device name and its IP address, which is something I do for all my devices so that I can just keep track of them when they are connecting and not connecting. And in this Node-RED example, it is subscribing to the last will and testament and shows that device is online. But we also have the web page. So the web page also at the top shows you IP address, MAC address, and sketch information, but also shows you all the topics you can subscribe to. Flash is simply a 1 and 0, which helps set a rate to flash at. And I have various devices that subscribe to this for flashing LEDs. Color is simply setting whatever channel to be on. Flash is setting the color for it to flash at, on and off. Fade, it will fade between colors. Config sets up what type of strips are connected to the controller. You have your management page for uploading new firmware, seeing device information. You can remotely reboot the device or do a factory reset. You have the config page, so host name, which also sets the mqtt topics, your Wi-Fi information. You have the access point information. Password must be 8 characters, between 8 and 32 characters. You can make the access point hidden. Your mqtt broker, port, username, password, the title, which is the top section of the web page, the type, which shows up down at the bottom, Type is this one down here, I think. And then dark mode, it's default to on at the moment. And then the two different colors used on the web page, and the fade speed that the lights will fade between. In micros, it's not in millis. And it's set to 200 as default. And then you can turn dark mode on and off on the web page as well. This does not save, so if you reboot the device, it won't remember your selection. If you want one mode or the other, you have to set it in the config here. Changing some of these, not all of them will cause a reboot. Some of them can save without needing to reboot the device for everything to work. And at the bottom, it can show messages if the ESP has been rebooted. You can see a message of why, and then the online status light at the top of the page will go red. Now, in Node-RED, I have this big setup. I was experimenting with automatic configuration, but I have it turned off right now. So if I look at the terminal window and I go down and let's say we're going to turn strip 1 red, well, it will show us a message that no strips have been configured. So we go back up to here and we're going to click the configuration for the 5 strips that I have connected. In the configuration, it simply sends to the topic the strip number for the strip we're configuring and how many channels that strip uses. This will accept anywhere between number 1 and 5. So that strip uses 5 channels, the next one uses 2, and there's a mixture in between of which strips I have connected. So now if I go in and I can click red, we have set the LED strip red. We can set it green. If we turn on the flash timer, we can actually use flash. We can make it flash blue. We can make the other strip flash white. And they will be in sync at the same time as well. Let's turn them off. And then we have, I'm going to turn the timer off as well. We can fade it to purple. Or we can fade it to green. Fade it off. So it gives you full control of what the strips do, and makes it fairly easy to control. Way a lot of these functions work. So for example, strip 1 is a 5-channel strip, so you're sending 5 different variables plus the strip number is the first one, and then whatever topic of the function you want to do. So in this case, this will set it to a static color, or I can make it flash, or I can make it fade. And then in terms of code, there are 2 sets of code made to work on the device. The code I'm running right now is on my left hand of my screen. This is OTA plus AP web code. So you don't have to change anything in the code. You just flash it, connect to it on Wi-Fi, and you can set all your configuration, and it saves it in a JSON file on the device. The other one is only set up to run on an ESP8266. You'd have to change a few things to make it cross-compatible with an ESP32 or a other device that you may want to use to control it. This one you have to go in to the configuration file and change your SSID and password, as well as you may have to change your mqtt broker and possibly username and password. Now if you're not using the username and password, you would also need to go into the Wi-Fi setup page and in the mqtt reconnect function, there's a line currently commented that can be uncommented, and then the line above it you would have to comment, and then it would have run normally without any issues. Hopefully this makes sense, and I think I covered my basis with the functions it offers.